This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So yesterday we talked a little bit about DevOps, right? It was bold. Yes, sir. So when we talk about DevOps, what is DevOps is? Okay, it is the process of automation, okay, or let's say automation of the process of software engineering. Right? What do you mean by this term, software engineering? Anyone?
DevOps is a part of testing.
No. It is not just testing. Okay, it is not increasing. How do I increase this? What is the shortcut for this? Let it be 20. No problem. Yes. So what I have written is DevOps is automation of the process of software engineering. So what is software engineering in this? What do you understand by this term, software engineering?
You develop a product, release it.
Yes, you develop a product, release it. So there are various steps to this thing, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
So what are the steps? Okay, I'm getting a little bit noise. I don't know from whom. Okay, it is from Varinder. Varinder, can you please mute yourself? Yep, thank you. So yeah, what are the steps, guys? Anyone? Where do you start?
Coding and planning.
Requirement.
Yes, so the first thing is understanding. Okay, it is in bold. Okay, let me just. So the first step is understanding our requirement. Okay. Yes, what you're understanding the problem, or should I say? What is the problem? What you need and all? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Second step, after understanding the problem, there's a little
Feasibility.
bit.
Feasibility.
Yes, feasibility. Yes, feasibility. Yes.
Planning.
Then, yes, planning. Yes, planning, or should I say designing stage.
Development.
Yes, development.
Testing.
Yes. So you guys already know these things, right?
And maintenance.
No. After testing, you get deployment. Because first you have to deploy that particular product. Only then you go to monitoring. Okay. And then you come to maintenance. Okay. Getting this, guys? These are the steps. Yes or no?
Okay.
So when we talk about this, let's just forget the first three steps. Okay. Because these are when your product, let's say you are deciding. Yes or no? The client comes to you with product, you do all those things, right? Your initial development begins from this step, right? The product development. So we'll start understanding from over here. We don't need to, let's say, basically understand this, right? This is where you understand what your client is facing, the problems, what he wants. Okay. Then it comes to feasibility, then it comes to planning and this designing, in which you create SRS document and all those things. So the main thing where we start our work is development, testing, deployment, monitoring, and maintenance. Okay, so I'll just delete all of these. Okay, so we'll be working with this thing. Okay, so basically DevOps, where it starts is whenever, as soon as your development phase ends, your DevOps starts. How so? Because understand it. Okay, let me just do this thing. Then yes. Okay. Okay, let me just put these two completely differently. Okay. Let's say these stages that we go are these: development, testing. Okay, we forgot one thing. That is the building stage. Okay, so after we are done with development, we build the app or we create a build. Yes or no? Only on that build we can test, and then we deploy that build. There's a building stage in between. Okay, so these are the 4 stages. Okay, so how DevOps work is we automate all of these 4 stages. Okay, let me just take this. We automate from starting from development. Okay, we automate all of this process, your build, testing, and deployment stage. How do we automate it? Because let's say, for example, you are building something. This is your source code. I'll say SC. Okay, so you know that for the build case, I have to run a certain set of commands every time to create a build out of the source code. Yes or no? The commands are fixed that I have to run. Agree with me? Yes or no, guys?
It may change also, right? The commands
No, but
based
basically,
on the
whenever you
requirement.
are, no, let's say you have created something, right? The first time you have created an app, whenever you are adding some content to that app or anything, the line or the code, the piece of let's say executable command that you put is same to build it, right? If you are, let's say, if you are working with a Python app, right? Every time you will write the same command to make a build out of that source code. Yes or no?
Mhm.
If you are working with a Java app, every time you will be working with a Java app, you will be making changes to that particular Java app. So in order to create a build out of the new, let's say, source code that you have made changes to, or updated source code, whatever you say it, so you'll have to run that same old command that you ran earlier to create a build. Yes or no?
Yes, Gaurav.
Yes. So that is the same.
Gaurav, may
So
I?
yes,
Okay.
go on.
Build is actually the original app or the product with the original data, with the data filled in it. Am I right? Build, you
There
mean
is,
that?
okay, build, what we mean is when you change your source code into an executable file. Okay, that you can work on. Let's say you are running an app, so you have created, your developers have created a source code. You have to convert it into an executable on which you can test. Yes or no?
Source code is also executable, no?
No, no. You execute source code to make it into a build. That only the whenever you are using something, an app, you are using the build it. Okay.
Okay.
So whenever you are writing, source code is basically language that you are writing. Okay. You are either writing your source code in Python or anything. The app that you are using is working on machine level language. It changes. Whenever you say compile or something like that, right? You have to compile your code to get that end result. What it does is it changes your code from high level language to machine level language, and then it
Yeah.
builds it, and then it creates a build out
Okay.
of it. So this is how
Okay.
it works. So you get a build that you can use, or you can say your app that you can use. Okay.
So there is no separate development and testing group now.
There are development and testing. Okay, so what you have to do is there are guys that write your source code. There are guys, okay, there is a team that write your test cases.
Okay.
Okay, so what you do is you take the source code. Okay, you have to build every time, you have to test every time. Okay, there's a lot of,
Like it goes parallel.
yes, it goes parallel.
Okay.
Yes, Vikram, do you have? Okay. So let's say you are building something. You do you have any question?
No question, but actually a little background noise is coming. That's
Okay.
quite distracting. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have your source code, you are creating a build. So every time you run this, let's say same set of commands. Okay. For test cases also you have defined that your build should, let's say, satisfy all these test cases. Okay. Let me just say these are the set of test cases that you have defined or your testing team has built. Okay. So I have a file that contains all the test cases and they can be automatically, let's say, I can say that always run this file for this whatever build is created. Yes or no? So that process also I can do automatically.
Okay.
Okay. So now after this, I also know that if in order to deploy it, yes or no, I can also run certain set of commands, the same set of commands. So that means I can, let's say I know what all commands I have to run. These are all static commands that I need to run. So I can automate this process using certain tools. Getting it?
Gaurav, one query.
Yes.
Yeah, like AWS and DevOps, uh, are they are related? How they are
AWS and DevOps.
related? Yeah.
Okay. So how they? Okay. So they are related. Okay. So let's say you are working with cloud technologies, you are running at, let's say after you have done created a build, you have run your test cases, in the end you are deploying it on the cloud platform, right? So you need to
Okay,
have
okay.
knowledge about those things. That is how it is related. And all these things as well, you'll understand that we will be using cloud services for, let's say, implementing these kind of things. This is also automation process as well.
Oh, okay, okay. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay.
So you know that I can automate this thing. Okay, so now after deploying everything, now there are two more things that I've added into DevOps. Now earlier it was just this. Okay, it was just this. So this process is called CI/CD. Have you heard about this? CI/CD?
Yes, Gaurav.
Yes.
Continuous and continuous.
Deployment. Yes, it is also said continuous integration. Some people also say it as continuous integration, continuous delivery. Okay, that is also correct. There's a slight difference. As we go on, you'll understand what is the difference. Okay. And this thing is called continuous monitoring and maintenance. Okay. Continuous monitoring, let's say. Okay.
CI/CD is continuous integration and continuous deployment.
Yes, that is also right. But there is one more definition for it, that is continuous integration, continuous delivery as well.
Okay.
There is one that is called continuous integration, continuous deployment. Okay. Okay. And there is one that is continuous delivery. Okay. What is the difference is, let's say continuous deployment means once your, let's say you have created a build. Okay. So let's say this is source code. Here comes your build. Okay. Then comes your testing stage. Okay. After it, you get different stages. Okay. So after it, let's say if you are automating the process of deployment, right? You want to, let's say, deploy your code or your build, right? The app that you have. So this is called continuous deployment. Okay, continuous delivery means you do not want to, where is my mouse cursor? You do not want to deploy it, but once your test cases are, let's say, this thing is complete, your testing phase is complete, and your test case and your results are coming out is successful, then you want to notify certain people, right? Yes or no? You want to notify that everything is successful, and now if you want, you could deploy it. So there is one more stage that adds. This is called delivery stage. That means you are delivering it to someone. It could be you as well, okay, or your DevOps team, and then they will say, okay, now you have to deploy it. Get it? And in continuous deployment, it is automated, right? That after, let's say, if the testing is successful, it will automatically be deployed. In this, you have an option. Once your testing is successful, it will go to certain people, and now this is manually done. That you will say either yes to deploy it, or you'll say no, I don't want to deploy it right now. I want to send it back to, let's say, development phase again, or something like that. So this is delivery, and this is deployment. Getting it?
Scenario, please.
Scenario, it could be, let's say, the same. You could understand the three stages are same. You are trying to build, let's say, for example, I am building an app or something. Okay, so I want to, let's say, it is running on my production server, and I am pushing, I have, let's say, updated it or made some changes to the source code, and I have created a build out of it, tested it, okay, and I have created it in a way that I want that as soon as I get the result of the testing, and everything is successful, right? All the tests are successful and it is compatible. Just push it to on the production server directly, and then notify
Okay.
me. This could be,
Okay.
this is deployment. Right,
Okay.
continuous deployment. And the other thing is, as soon as the test cases are done, I want it to, let's say, notify me, and then I will approve it that I want to push this particular update on my production server or not. Right. So now in continuous delivery, it is in my hand. Let's say at the end of the testing cycle, it comes to a certain person, or let's say a group of people. They are notified that now these are the results of the testing phase, okay, and your build, let's say your build was successful, okay, all the test cases were run smoothly, and now if you want, you could deploy it on your production level. So okay, so mostly we go for delivery, I guess. We don't, let's say, deployment phase, we can do it, but mostly we go for delivery phase. Okay, most of the organizations, when they are working, they mostly go for delivery. They do not want, let's say, directly that your developer just pushes a code, okay, and then it is created a build, or so. Okay, so they want, what they want is that your developer makes some changes, a build is created automatically, test cases are run automatically, and then they are notified that these are the changes that are made. Now if we want to, let's say, push it, that is in their hand. So that is better than, let's say, your developer just makes some changes and you are getting to know it after it is being pushed to your or deployed on your production server. Yes or no?
Okay.
Yeah, yes or no? Let's say if you are the owner, what do you want? Where you should know it, you should get to know it once it has been put on, let's say, deployed on your production server, or you should know it before, let's say, deployment phase. You should know before production state, right?
Yeah, notified.
Yes. So that is the thing. So this is why it is called continuous delivery. Okay. Earlier it was a CI/CD, but now monitoring has also added in this DevOps. Okay. So now when we talk about DevOps, it contains tools, right? As we have talked about yesterday. Yes or no? I'll say, okay, it is red. I'll just make it black. Tools in DevOps. Okay. So the tools that we use, okay, are, first one is Git. Okay. I'll say Git and GitHub. Okay. The second one is Maven. Okay. The third one is Jenkins. Okay. The fourth one is Docker. Okay. then comes Swarm, then comes Kubernetes. Okay, then it comes Nagios. Okay, then it comes Ansible. Okay, then after this we might talk about one more, that is Terraforms. Okay, yes, if I'm not wrong, this is the no, it is the double R reforms. I'm not pretty sure about the spelling of this, but it is called Terraforms. Okay, so what is the uses of these are? So what is GitHub is? GitHub is a source code manager or a version control system. Okay, so what do you understand? Anyone having prior experience with GitHub? What is GitHub?
It's a
GitHub.
repository
We can
wherein
write the code and we can store the codes over there. Repository.
Yes, it is a repository. So that is GitHub. So what is Git is? It is a version control system. Okay, so let's say you are having, okay, so you are making changes or you are making updates. So it should store your previous files as well, and it should store the files that you have updated as well. Yes or no? So this is called version control system. Let's say this was your version 1, the initial code was your version 1, the new one is either version 2 or 1.1, you can say. Okay, so kind of this thing. So it stores both the things. It controls your source code version. Okay, just like S3, the people who have come from this thing, AWS, S3 has version, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, so similar to that. Okay, so now Maven is used for continuous build. Okay, it is a continuous build tool. Okay, it will create the build out of this. The source code. Maven is for Java applications. Okay. Yes or no, guys? Okay, so now we come to Jenkins. Jenkins is your continuous
Can
integration
support
tool.
any language
No,
build.
Maven only supports Java.
Okay.
Maven is a continuous build tool for Java. Okay, for different languages, you have different build tools. There are multiple build tools for Java as well. It is not that it's just Maven, but Maven is majorly used, I guess. It is the most popular. There are various build tools as well. Okay. So then we come to Jenkins. That is your continuous integration tool. Okay. Then we come to Docker.
Gaurav, in Jenkins, it's nothing like continuous integration in Java apps or anything else. It's like,
In Jenkins, no. Maven is a continuous build tool for Java. Okay. Jenkins is a
okay,
continuous integration tool that can be integrated with anything. It could be
anything.
any
Okay,
language. It could be Python. It could be
okay,
Java.
okay,
It could
okay.
be Ruby. Anything. But Maven is
All right.
dedicated. Maven is a dedicated build tool for Java.
Okay,
That is what I
right.
said.
Integration tool means?
Integration tools means, let's say you have your source code. Okay, so Jenkins, I'll give a certain set of commands. Jenkins will perform that every time. Integration means it is integrating all the various, let's say, processes that we were doing earlier. Okay, so we use this integration tool, this Jenkins, to create builds and then to, let's say, test the cases. Okay, run test cases as well. Jenkins will run the test case on the build. Okay, so this is the tool that will automate the building, testing, and then deployment thing. Not deployment actually, but creating a file that we could use to deploy. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay. So now we come to Docker. That is your continuous deployment. Okay, your CD tool, I should say. Okay, so this as well, CD tool and Kubernetes as well. So now you should, let's say, you must be getting this question that there are 3 CD tools that we have to learn. Why so? Yes or no? You're saying there are 3 CD tools.
Which one is most used in market?
Okay, so the most that so each one of them has a different, let's say, use. Okay, so when we talk about Docker, understand this way. Okay, so there is a noise coming. Can you please mute yourself? I'll explain this. Okay, thanks. Okay, that's great. So for Docker, what Docker does is it is for single, let's say, container. Okay, when we deploy our code nowadays, we work with containers. Okay, so it is to handle single containers. Okay, or let's say you can also say single server. You could also say a container is a server if you want to understand in that case. So Docker is to handle multiple, okay, containers. Okay, and Kubernetes is also used. Okay, I could either say multiple or let me just say cluster. This is a better term, cluster of containers. Okay, this is also for cluster of containers. Okay, so now this we know that this is to handle single container. So this will give us the base thing. Okay, this will start us with containers and all. How do we use them and all this? How do we create them? What is the use of that thing? Okay, Docker gives us the entry to containerization. Then we move on to Swarm. Okay, Swarm give us the entry towards clustered containers. Okay, more than one containers. Yes or no? So let's say, for example, in Docker, I could run only one container at a time. Okay. So now if that containers, let's say, is destroyed or is not available, my whole, let's say, whatever application I was running is not available to the general public now. Yes or no? So in order to handle that thing, we have to run a cluster or multiple servers, you could say, kind of thing. My application on multiple servers or multiple containers. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? So that if one application or one
We'll be understanding more about containers while we study all these.
Yes. You will understand more about this. Just understand that container is a server that is running your application. Okay.
Okay.
For right now, understand it this way that a
Gaurav,
container is a yeah.
based on requirements, these containers can we use, right? Like single cluster and this cluster container also.
No. Based on the requirements we have used earlier. So these all gives you, let's say, the single container or Docker starts you with the understanding of the containers, what containers are, how you use them. Okay, all these things. Then you move on to the next tool that is called Docker Swarm. Okay, that is for clustered containers. Okay, that gives you the entry towards how you handle multiple containers at a single time. Okay. And then you move on to the advanced one. Kubernetes is the most advanced. That is being used, let's say, by major companies nowadays. When you work with clustered environments, Kubernetes is the most used tool. Okay. But in order to understand, we cannot directly move to Kubernetes. You have to understand Docker as well as Docker Swarm. That they create a platform for you to understand Kubernetes and work with Kubernetes better. Okay. So that is why we understand, let's say, study Docker and Docker Swarm. We cannot directly go to the advanced one.
Okay, sir. Any example, sir? Will you tell me any example?
Okay, for example, let's say you are running an application. Okay, so if you want to run a single server, you could work with Docker. Okay.
Okay.
So if you want multiple, you could go for Swarm or Kubernetes. But Kubernetes has more functionalities than Docker Swarm. Okay, Kubernetes is just better. Example, like most of the applications that you run nowadays are run using containers. Any application that you take are run using containers, and are these Kubernetes is used to do that thing, to run those containers.
Kubernetes is advanced in terms of both are
Mm,
cluster containers, no?
managing clustered containers.
Then to Gaurav, every app should be in Kubernetes only, na? Why Docker and Swarms are used? Like
No,
what
understand
applications
it
would
this.
be?
Let's say example, if let's say I can't just make a baby run, right? It has to first understand how to crawl, then to walk, and then it can run. So that kind of
Okay.
thing. You first
Acha,
need to understand what containers are, how to understand, let's say, how to
okay,
handle
okay,
a
okay.
single container.
So,
Then you
so
move on. There are
it's
steps.
okay. It's only for understanding, but when we will be working on it, then most probably we'll be working on Kubernetes only, like that.
Yes, mostly when you're working in projects, you work with
Acha.
Kubernetes.
Okay. Right.
Docker and Swarm are just to create the base that will help you
Okay.
understand Kubernetes better.
Right. ठीक है.
Yes. Okay. So these three are your clustered container tools. Okay, cluster tools or container tools, single and multiple container tools. Then we use Nagios. Okay, this is your continuous monitoring tool. Okay, then comes your Ansible. That is your configuration management tool. Or I can write CM tool as well. Okay, to write it, I could also write CM tool. Okay, then comes this Terraform. This is completely nowadays, let's say, companies have started asking for this tool as well from DevOps engineers. Okay, earlier they never, let's say 4 or 5 years earlier, they just wanted you to learn all this: Git, Maven, Jenkins, Docker, and Docker Swarm, and Kubernetes. If you had the knowledge of only these tools, you were good. Now they have integrated Nagios and Ansible from the past 3 to 4 years or so, or 5 years, or let's say 5 to 7, let's say, for better understanding. And now they have, let's say, they are wanting the new and upcoming DevOps engineers to have experience with Terraforms or have a basic understanding of Terraforms as well. Okay, so what is Terraforms is? It is IaaS. No, it is IaaC, my bad. IaaS is infrastructure as a service. It is IaaC tool. Okay, what is the full form of this? Is infrastructure as a code tool. So what do you mean by infrastructure as a code?
Infrastructure as a code tool, sir.
What?
Scripting, right?
Scripting,
We can
yes,
use
but yes,
Or
it's
we
like a
can say
Python only, right?
yes, it can be Python, it can be any other language as well.
like
And
in
we can
AWS
write
we use
JSON for
it is an
Okay, one
is in
at
any
a
way
time,
related
please.
to AWS
It is related to
cloud.
AWS or cloud. So first understand what is
Like in
infrastructure when
Lambda
you talk about
function,
this. Lambda function is different, and this is a little bit different. So infrastructure, when you talk about infrastructure, what is infrastructure? Cloud people who have taken cloud classes, what is infrastructure?
the physical host, the host of CPUs.
No, that is not an infrastructure. Anyone?
the architecture and all that. That's what infrastructure, right?
Availability
Yes.
zones.
Where
The
infrastructure
architecture,
IT services are delivered.
you could say infrastructure is basically, okay, infrastructure is architecture, okay, but that the architecture that you have created, okay, the base, let's say your servers and your networking combined makes an infrastructure. Okay, Networking along with your servers makes up your infrastructure.
So IaaC means, if you are using cloud as your infrastructure, you need not go to the cloud console. You can uh, write a
Manage it
code
with a
and
code.
manage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could write a code and manage it using that. Yes,
CLI. Yeah.
exactly. Using a code based, you could manage, you could create or destroy your infrastructure on the cloud using this software by writing a code. Okay. Just like there's something called in AWS, there's something called cloud formation, I guess. Yes, it is cloud
Yes. Yeah.
formation. Yes, yes, yes. So it helps you create templates. Okay, you could use those templates, or it also allows you to write a piece of code that you could use. And if you execute that code, it will automatically create VPC subnetting and all those things, and will run servers as well. Okay, so that you could do using code.
What is it that in AWS?
It is called cloud formation.
Cloud
That is a
formation.
service.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a service.
Okay.
Cloud formation. So similarly, but why is Terraform prescribed over AWS cloud formation is because that cloud formation is only bound for AWS. This Terraforms could work for, let's say, GCP, AWS, as well as for Azure or any other cloud service provider. Okay, because it is a third-party provider tool, so it is compatible with all of the cloud services. Okay, so that is why they ask you to, let's say, have a knowledge of understanding of Terraforms nowadays. So now how we integrate this is, okay, so we now know what is, let's say, these things, what are these tools. So how do we integrate is, okay, we start with Git. Let's say this is our Git. Okay, I'll say Git and Hub. It's a Git and GitHub. Okay, so this is my Git and GitHub. So my developer pushes code to this. Yes or no? Developer pushes code to this. As soon as the code is, let's say, pushed, it is taken from this, okay, into Jenkins. Okay, and Jenkins takes
This
care of, yep.
this will be done by us only, right? From GitHub to Jenkins,
Yes,
we'll
yes.
be only pushing. Okay.
No, this thing will be automated.
Acha, automated only. Okay.
Yes, sir. This is automated. So as soon as the code is, let's say, pushed to the GitHub, okay, the Jenkins will take it. It will create a build. It will run all the test cases. Okay, then it will make a container. Okay, containers are made in Docker. Okay, over here I will write Docker. Okay. Docker, Swarm, and Kubernetes. I'll write Kube. Okay. Okay, this is bad. Understand this way. I'll leave it this way. Okay, so that you can understand. So after this is done, it is done by this. Okay, and then after we deploy these Kubernetes containers. Okay, and after deployment, we use tools like Nagios. Okay. Let's say they are over here. Tools like Nagios to monitor these let's say containers. Okay, and also tools like Ansible. Okay, I would say this. So let's say make changes to these containers. Okay, configurational changes to these containers. So this is what our cycle looks like. Okay. Yes, sir.
Gaurav, how to decide which tool is used for project?
We use all of these tools to project. These are integrated in this way. We cannot just say that I want to use Jenkins for and create a project out of it. No, we will use Git and GitHub. We'll use Jenkins. We'll use Docker, Swarm, all these tools, and we'll create a pipeline. This is called a pipeline. Have you heard something called CI/CD pipeline?
Yeah.
Yes. So this is a CI/CD pipeline. Okay. This is the basic understanding how a CI, what is a CI/CD pipeline. This is a CI/CD pipeline.
Same project which use depend on project. Either use
What?
Docker, either use Kubernetes.
No. We basically use Kubernetes, but let's say what is Docker is we create Docker containers and Kubernetes handle those containers. Okay.
Okay.
Docker allows us to create containers. Okay, and Kubernetes creates a cluster of containers. Okay, and then helps us to manage all of those containers.
Okay. Can you give example in what? Gaurav, give example.
Yeah, let me think. When we are talking about Docker. Okay, so I'll have to relate it with something.
Netflix or OLX or any app is related to this?
Everything works on this only, but how to, let's say, make you understand better that is what I'm thinking. Let's say if I start talking about something Netflix, okay, let's say they have, started with okay, so Netflix is currently working on this. Okay, they are using this architecture, let's say. Okay. They have their application running on their production servers. Their developers make a new update. Okay. So as soon as their developers have created an update, they have a repository that is running, let's say, holding their application. Okay. So they will push that code to that particular repository, GitHub repository. Okay. As soon as they push that code to that repository and those changes are made, the Jenkins will pull that code, okay, onto the Jenkins server, and it will trigger a build. It will build it. Okay, it will run the test cases on this and say, okay, tell everyone that if the, let's say, test cases are successful or unsuccessful. Okay, you will know it through Jenkins. Once you are done with this, it will, let's say, if it is successful, it will create a Docker containers. Okay, or Docker images. So let's say it creates containers, and then you manage those containers using Kubernetes. Okay. And using Kubernetes, you manage them and push them, deploy as well using Kubernetes.
Okay.
So that is
And
what
meanwhile, this Nagios and Ansible, somebody else will be there who will be monitoring this?
No. And
or we only
Nagios is you only have to do that. These tools are used. This is to monitor. Okay, just like CloudWatch you had.
Acha.
CloudWatch was a continuous monitoring tool. Nagios as well. Just this was, let's say, CloudWatch could monitor your ALB, auto scaling group, and all these things. Your EC2 instances as well.
Okay, yes.
You have it. CloudWatch is a tool that is given by AWS that monitors your let's say instances or your virtual servers. Okay.
Yes.
Nagios also monitors your Kubernetes or Docker containers.
Okay.
And Ansible is a tool that you use, let's say, to make changes to the production server that you are currently running. Let's say if your production server, if you want to update, you are running, let's say, 6 production servers as of right now, 6 containers or something like that. Okay, 6 or 7, let's say. So if you want to make some change, you have to, let's say, go into each one and then make some changes, right? But what this Ansible helps you do is you will run a command over here, or let's say a text file or something like that. Okay, and what it will do is it will, let's say, do this automatically in each of them. Okay. You don't have to worry about it. It will automatically make changes to all of these, the same changes.
Okay.
So that kind of thing.
Right.
So this is the whole cycle. Getting it now, Varinder? Any questions? Yes. Okay, he just
No, Gaurav.
okay. You are there. Okay, my bad. Do
So
you still have
Jira,
any questions? Yeah, go on.
yeah, Jira, like instead of Jenkins, we can use Jira, or Jira won't come to the part of
Jira,
operations.
Jira builds your tickets, if I'm not wrong.
Okay, okay.
It's spot ticket, kind of spot ticket, task ticket.
Yes, Jira builds your ticket. Jira lets you know that, let's say, Jira is used by organizations to, let's say, they build a ticket and they let other people know in the group that I want this kind of task to happen or this kind of thing, if I'm not wrong.
Jira is not part of DevOps, right? Or it is?
No, it is used to, let's say, by an organization to say, to, let's say, tell their employees that I want this task to be done. This task is to be done by
Okay.
raising a
Jira
ticket.
is not tickets, right? Jira means.
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
Okay. ठीक है.
It is not, let's say, it cannot integrate these things. It cannot, let's say, take your code from GitHub and say that build it and run test cases. That piece it cannot do.
Okay.
Okay. So any other questions, any doubts about this thing? Anyone? Any questions? No?
No, all good.
No. Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay, so that is all. Okay, so from tomorrow we'll start with Linux. Okay, because we'll be using Linux servers to run all of these tools on them.
अच्छा Gaurav, if we are done for the day, then थोड़ा starting में यार I was confused. You said something build means like source code is changed to executable files.
Yes.
Can you just explain that thing again? I mean,
Okay.
disturbance
So
was there, so I wasn't able to get it clearly. Yeah.
no problem. So when you, let's say, you are writing a source code, you write it using, let's say, applications, let's say, languages like Java. Okay, my bad, Java or Python, right?
Yeah, this is done. This has to be done by the developer, right?
Developers. Yes. So what
Correct,
these
correct.
languages are, these languages are called high-level languages. Why high-level languages? Because these could be understood by, let's say, human beings,
Okay,
by
right.
us. Yes, sir. We could understand these because these look like general English.
Right. ठीक है.
But when we talk about how a machine works or how a machine understands, it only understands binary. We know that thing. 0 or
Yes,
1, 0 or 1.
correct. Yes,
So
yes.
it has to convert this high level language into a machine level language. Okay.
All right. Okay.
You have heard about compiling a code or, let's say, interpreting a code, right?
Yes.
So that what it does is it changes from high level language to machine level, and by after doing it, it changes it into a build. Okay, it creates a build. That means it changes it into an
Okay.
executable. Okay, because you
अच्छा.
can enter the applications that you use are your executables, right?
Correct. ठीक है.
Yes or no? Your
So this
applications
build
that you
is
run.
so this build is further given to get and GitHub, right?
Yes.
अच्छा,
No.
ठीक है.
In GitHub you put your source code.
Then GitHub में पूछा source code. Okay.
GitHub repository is your source code. You pull that source code from GitHub repository. Jenkins pull that source code from GitHub repository and then builds over here. Triggers a build.
अच्छा, Jenkins has to build it. All right.
Jenkins has to build, and after that, what let's say your test cases that are run on your build. Okay. Because when you have created a build, now you have an application that will be used by your users. Yes or no?
Okay.
Your users that are using a build application. Okay, that has been built. Because if I give you the source code, that source code is no use to you guys. Let's say I have created an application. If I give a source code out to my users, they have no use of that. They cannot use that source code anyhow. Yes or no? I have to give a builded application to that users so that they could use that application.
अच्छा, okay.
So
So
that is
in
what.
Jenkins, it has to be configured with the test case files that we get from the testing team.
Yes, it has to be. Then only we can say that after the build is triggered, run this test case file as well.
So automatically we get something like containers. Am I right?
Yes, yes. If it is, let's say there are stages in Jenkins as well. So what Jenkins will do is it will first build the, let's say, source code that test pulled. It will build a file, okay, create a build, and then it will run the test cases. If the test cases are coming out successful, then it will move on to the deployment phase. If they are unsuccessful, it will stop over there and send a message that, let's say, this was the result and your test cases have, let's say, have failed and your build is unstable. Okay, unstable means that it could not be, the general public cannot use it. Let's say if I'm making an application in which my, let's say, users cannot log into that application, right? So I write test cases that will check that can people log into that application, can people create new users, okay, can people, let's say, utilize certain features that I've added. Yes or no? These are the types of test cases that are written. So these kind of test cases, it will check. So if the app that have been built, okay, the build that have been created, if it is satisfying all those certain, let's say, check marks or test cases, only then it will move on to development, or else it will notify the people, the developers, as well as the, let's say, whomever we have said that it should notify. Okay. And once it is done, it will move on to the deployment phase, push your, let's say, build your containers or build Docker images. Okay, you'll understand. Let's say, for example, build your containers and put them on the web, on your production servers, in easier terms. There are various stages when we come to this. You'll have to understand how your containers are building out. That thing you'll learn as you go through the course. Okay. Any questions? Any
Gaurav,
questions?
as you said, tomorrow we'll be starting with Linux operating system. So
Yes.
will you also teach us how to do it using Windows?
No. We basically, why we use Linux is majoritarily all the organizations that they use DevOps tools, they run it on Linux servers. Everything that they do it on Linux servers.
Okay, not on Windows.
No, they don't go for the Windows servers. Let's say if tomorrow, let's say I teach you using Windows server and you go working in an organization, they ask you to do it on a Linux server. So that is completely different. Okay. Because companies majoritarily wants you to work it on a Linux server. They take Linux servers for DevOps tools as well.
Okay. The reason is we have a Windows operating system only. So how should I go ahead?
No, you don't need to worry about this. Even I have Windows system. See, I am running a Windows 10. Even I have this. So what we will do is we'll use Linux servers that we will get from the cloud service provider. Okay. We'll use AWS Linux servers on the cloud.
Okay. Fine.
And we'll store all of our data over there.
Okay.
So you don't need to worry about that.
Yeah. Understood. Yeah.
Any other questions, guys?
So Gaurav, this Maven, Jenkins, Docker, all these will be learning after Linux classes?
Yes, Linux is a, let's say, first we go with Linux classes. Okay, so let's say you know it, you understand Linux. Okay, so but there might be someone who doesn't, so that is why we have to go through Linux class.
No problem. Right.
It's a bad thing. Yes, go on.
Build is contain binary and kernel files. Build path.
No. Build is application that you use. When we talk about build, it is an application that you use, just like WhatsApp. Like WhatsApp, like any other application that you use, that is a build that you.
No, sorry, I can't understand.
Okay, so build, when you create a build out of the source code, you get an application. Just like the applications you use on your mobile phones, right? WhatsApp,
Yes,
Facebook, those applications that you use are the build level build applications. They are not the source code.
Okay.
Okay, so the applications that users use are called builds.
One more doubt. What is Selenium? Is this
Okay, Selenium is a tool that we use to write test cases, automation test cases. Okay, see it. I will show you guys what is Selenium is. I will show you. Selenium is a framework that we use for testing. Okay, the people that are the testing team, they use this Selenium and they write the test cases. Okay, using
Selenium
Selenium.
also
And
with Jenkins or Kubernetes?
no, we can integrate this when we are talking about integrating the testing phase with Jenkins. The testing team gives us the test cases, okay, that are written on Selenium, and then we could integrate this using Jenkins.
Okay.
Okay, so Jenkins is the continuous integration tool, right? This is continuous integration tool. So using this, we integrate Maven, GitHub, and if you want any other tools, that could be your Selenium, that could be your SonarQube. SonarQube is another tool that checks the code quality. Okay, this is a tool that checks the quality of your code. Okay, code quality, continuous inception of your code quality. So you could, in Jenkins, you could integrate a lots of tools. Okay, that is why it is continuous integration tool. Okay. Any other questions?
Gaurav, recording for today's class will be given by what time tomorrow?
I haven't been shared your emails as of right now, so I'll, as soon as I get your emails, okay, I'll share those with you.
Okay.
Because I haven't made the file as of right now, and I have to share that file, just like your cloud thing. I'll create an Excel file, so that will be shared with you, and then afterwards the recordings will be updated as usual.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye, guys. We'll meet tomorrow at 7. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Okay.